Media composer is everything for my career. Everything I've done has been media composer. There's no question. Hi, I'm Shelly Westerman. I've been nominated for an Emmy Award this year for Only Murders in the Building. The best thing about Only Murders is it's pure joy. Everyone is so nice. It's comedy, it's legends, it's Steve Martin, it's Martin Short, Selena Gomez is a dream. But really it's the collaboration between really nice people, and it's just such a joyful, positive environment to work in. Our episode Sits Probe features a phenomenal performance by Steve Martin doing a patter song. But what really makes it special, well, two big things. The directors, Bob Pulcini and Sherry Springer-Berman. I was their assistant editor back in New York, back in the day. Bob edited, and they're a directing duo. So when I heard they were on Only Murders and that I was assigned to their episode, we reconnected. It was so much fun. We had a shorthand because we had worked intensely back in New York back in the day. And the other reason is I got to share it with Peyton Koch, my co-editor. There were the technical challenges of the big split screen moment. That was kind of the hardest challenge that we had with the episode, in that figuring out how we wanted to do that. Very early on, we banded together as a team. We divvied out the tasks. We kind of handed off back and forth to each other if there was something I couldn't figure out. Peyton would take a stab. Our assistants, Deanna Hyatt and Jamie Clark, would jump in. The directors, Bob and Sherry, had a plan for how they wanted to shoot the split screen sequence, and it was very interesting, and we were all blown away. Bob was like, why don't we map this out with title cards before we shoot it? They had pre-recorded the song, so we're like, okay, because usually when you get an episode or a script with split screens in it, your first reaction is, oh, no, please. They're always challenging. We started mapping out the title cards, and then Deanna realized early on you can't read all that stuff flying around the frame, so she color-coded them for characters, and that was brilliant. And we did it all in the Avid. We were very, very strict about that. We wanted to have the control and the flexibility, and with the minute changes we had to make to hit the song. We used 3D warp. We moved them all around, got it to where we wanted, that it worked with the song, and collaborating with Bob and Sherry, and we presented it to production, and they were pretty blown away that we had a complete map of how to shoot it. And of course it came back to us, the footage. We still had to do a little bit of tweaking and resizing and that kind of thing, but we had a map, and so we all felt really comfortable. And turning it over to Picture Shop, our online editor, Don Montour, tweaked it with pixels and kind of, refining the movements in conjunction with communicating with us. Deanna, our assistant, had been an online editor, so we were so pleased we could keep it in the Avid, keep that control, refine it, and it just came out beautifully. We were really happy with the end result. So that was kind of our biggest technical challenge of the episode. I did not plan anything that morning. I didn't set my alarm. I didn't want to jinx it, but I did wake up in time to watch the feed. I went to the website and checked. The first thing I did was do a find on Peyton's name, because again, I didn't want to jinx it. I started sobbing. I called him right away. Part of the reason is I had been taking care of my parents for the past couple of years, working remotely, so they really got to see what we did. My mother was fascinated with movies her whole life. She would tout to every doctor and nurse, you have no idea what editors do. She sat in on production meetings and Zoom calls and really got into it. So she passed away recently, so it was bittersweet. She would have been so happy and so proud. So I got a lot of calls from family and friends just saying, you got this girl, and your mom, is looking at you from above. It's all very, very positive. I keep a work bin where I sketch out my scenes. At the bottom of that work bin are all my little Avid kind of tools that I can have immediately at my disposal. So I use Animat a lot. I want to say I use it 20, 30 times in an episode. We have a fantastic sound department, and they use booms a lot that invade the frame. We easily paint them out with Animats. As a result, we get fantastic audio as well. So I've become very adept at that. The other new thing that I kind of fell in love with is the subcaps. They're so easy to use. Our fantastic Avid provider, Pacific Post, kind of showed me some videos I could watch to get comfortable with them. And it really changed the way we edited, because we have a fast schedule and Peyton and I were co-editing and both of our assistants were jumping in. I would sketch out acts with the subcaps for what scenes, were in each act and what day they were going to shoot. So we would have our acts built, and then we could work with our work bins and do our sequences and then dump them into the acts very quickly. So that was like a great feature. And then I also have a bin that I go to almost every day. It's my EQs and deverb bins that I have things I use over and over. And my assistants were kind of blown away by the fact that some of them are from 2002 when I worked on The Wire. I have all kinds of little music upstairs, music downstairs, Omar's gunshot from the alley. I have all these things. So I appreciate the fact that I have that foundation and that those things are 22, 23, 24 years old, and I can still use them, and I use them every day. Media composer is everything for my career. Like, everything I've done has been media composer. There's no question. I've not ventured into any other software. All of my projects are on Media Composer. Our film projects, our television projects. I'm a firm believer that I'm the most successful when I have my foundation. That's what I call it, my foundation. So I've got my Avid set up the way I like it. I've got my bins, I've got my projects. I know where everything is. Like, Avid's been everything for my career.